Billy, if you want to have a seat right there.
Yes, sir.
You can take that mask off if you want to. I'll sit over here, and we'll try to stay 6 feet apart and
Sure.
and that kind of thing. So how's it going?
It's going all right.
Yeah.
Just finally, we moved down here. Came back to the States and all that stuff. Came over here and.
So are you back now for good?
No, I still work back and forth and all that stuff.
Okay.
Usually, due to the Corona stuff, we've had issues of me getting home in the Philippines.
Right.
Because that's where I do live and stuff.
Right.
Most of the time, I go there and do 2 years, and then I come back over here for like 9 days to do a health check.
Okay.
And then, but due to the Corona,
Gotcha.
this is my second trip back
Okay.
over here. And then we just bought a place
Okay.
in Cottrell.
Well, cool. Well, first off, let me tell you, this is called a non-custodial interview, okay? You probably never heard of such a thing, but what that means is you came up here voluntarily, you're not being detained, you're free to go at any time, that door is not locked. I'm not advising you of your Miranda rights or none of that kind of stuff, okay? So this is a non-custodial interview, and I just want you to know that I really appreciate you coming up, and you know, I came all the way from Arkansas, and
Yeah, no, I'm going to tell you what I told the police down in Texas when they came and stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be honest with you and truthful with you
Yeah.
on everything. You know, maybe I saw something that maybe be a key factor in something there and all that stuff.
Right, right.
But, you know, I worked a 7-7 schedule, but I'll let you do your talking and then you can.
Okay, so I just want to make sure you're okay with.
I know my rights and all that stuff.
Okay, you're willing to talk to me.
I'm willing to talk to you and all that stuff.
Okay, all right. You know,
And I respect you in every way because your job is a hard job.
Yeah.
And all that stuff.
Right. I was thinking if you ever make it back to Arkansas, maybe we could, you know, get you to take a polygraph, because a bunch of people have taken polygraphs in that thing. You know, what are your thoughts on that? I don't even know if you'd ever be back into Arkansas.
I don't know and all that stuff. Most of the time I'm going back and forth to work and all that stuff, and due to this Corona stuff, when I go back to work, I might be 2 to 3 months stuck overseas and stuff.
Right.
So, but no, I don't have no issue when I sat there and told them down in Texas, you know, whatever you want, I'll give it to you. I don't have nothing to hide.
Yeah.
You know, and I explained to them, but I'll let you do your spiel, and then we'll talk and all that stuff.
Okay.
You know, I don't want to be rude or anything, because.
No, I understand.
Yeah.
Yeah. I appreciate it.
And then what I remember is when the guys came to Texas and stuff, I do not know what they wrote down.
Right. That's fine.
You know, the guy had a pad, he just was writing, and then he talked to me, and he talked to Mom,
Right.
and he talked a little bit about Jeremy and all that stuff. But
Right.
I never.
Give me 1 second. Forgot my pen. Well, you know, the information that was provided, that you guys provided in '04 was, you know, condensed to just a few paragraphs. You know, the investigator that came out and talked to you guys really didn't provide a lot of information. And, you know, going back and looking at this thing, there's a lot of stuff that we don't know about who you are as an individual, who Jeremy is, who your mom is, all these things. So that's kind of, you know, one of the things that I wanted to talk about.
Yes, sir.
Was just kind of who you were back during this period of time and all that.
I can start up to where Mom moved up there. Okay. And stuff. So whenever you want to start, I can explain to you or tell you, you know, and stuff.
Okay. Well, let's start with whenever Mom called you. You were in Texas and said, "Hey, we're moving back. We want to move back to Arkansas." need you to come up here and help us. That's what I understand.
Okay, now I'm gonna go even farther back and all that
Okay.
stuff. So, I'm gonna say when Mom went up there, all right, I remember, Mom says, hey, I'm working a 7 to 7 schedule, an oil field and all that stuff.
Right.
Meaning that my schedule timeline is very short.
Right.
Okay.
So you're an oil field worker.
I've been working in an oil field for 23 years.
Right. Who were you working for then?
I was working for island operators. I could get you old phone numbers
Okay.
and all that stuff,
Okay.
if you need that and all that stuff. I was working for island operator, working a 7-7 schedule. I remember moving Mom up there, and then she was moved into that little house. It was a couple miles down the road from Grandpa's property and stuff, and Grandpa was leasing that land from that farmer or whoever had that property. The names, it's been so long.
The old Wolf Farm is what it was called.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
Yeah.
So,
And you're right, that was about, your mom's house was about 2 or 3 miles from the McCullough trailer where this happened.
Okay. So, moved Mom there. Then after that, I went back home to Texas and all that stuff. There was a couple times that I came up to visit during the time that Mom was there for, I think, 4 or 5 months and stuff. So there was a couple times where I went up.
Now, how would you fly or would you drive?
Drive.
Okay, so
I had a black Chevy truck.
Okay.
And so I would drive up and stuff. And I think one time, my ex-wife, Amanda and all that stuff, or Heidi and all that stuff came up, and we visited and stuff. And then there was a couple other times where I went up. I can't give you dates. I don't know for sure.
That's fine. I understand.
Went up and then went and visited Uncle Bobby and stuff. It was me, Grandpa, Grandma, Mom, Jeremy, and all that stuff. Went over and was sitting in the trailer and all that stuff. Then we went up to the back property where Grandpa was showing.
Now, Uncle Bobby is Claude, right?
Yeah. There's
Casey's dad.
There's Grandpa was named Claude.
Right.
And then I called, Casey's dad, Uncle Bobby and all that stuff.
Right.
And so, but when I would go up there, I wouldn't hardly see any of the boys at all.
Mm-hmm.
They're off doing their own thing and stuff.
Right.
And I would more like hang out with Grandpa. If Uncle Bobby was off the road or whatever,
Right.
then I would see him. Alrighty, so, so I've been in that home and all that stuff. And
Prior to the homicide,
yes.
how many times had you been in that trailer, you think?
Maybe 2, 3 times.
Maybe 2 or 3 times?
2 or 3 times and stuff.
So Rebekah was killed in September of '04. When was the last time you were in that trailer, you think?
It was way before that.
Months.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so I...
well, hang on. Let's kind of explore that since you brought it up. Do you remember, why were you in the trailer and what did you do? Did you stay the night? Did you sleep?
No,
Did you?
I was there with Grandpa, used the restroom.
Okay.
And all that stuff. And, because I was helping Grandpa do some stuff.
Right.
So more of messing with the cows and all that stuff, because Grandpa would always say, you're the #1 grandson. And I was like, why would you say that? Because you never asked for anything, boy.
Right.
I asked the McCulloughs, how much you going to pay me?
Right.
He would argue with me. It's like, you buy me a hamburger, that's a good deal, And he's like, all right.
Right.
So there was a couple of times that I've been in there, and then there was, I'm just saying that we visited, went out on the back of the property, and then a couple of times where, I'm just saying a couple of times. I'm saying 2, 3 times. I'm not.
Prior to '04, just a few times.
Yeah, a few times I've been in that trailer, but when I went up, okay, so Mom's telling me that she wants to move back down to Texas.
Uh-huh.
So I told them, okay, you need to have everything packed because we're on a 7-7 schedule where I need to haul butt up there, pack up everything, and then get, back down to Texas to go to work.
Right.
So Mom's like, okay. So I drove up. I get there Sunday. between maybe 3, 4, or 5-ish, I'm not totally for sure.
Late in the day.
Later in the day, because it wasn't long before it got dark.
Right.
Jeremy was home. I called, Jeremy called, or we called Mom, and I think Mom was over at Grandpa's, and stuff, and said we'll be there shortly.
Now hang on, back up. Whenever you first got to Melbourne, where did you go? Did you go out to the farm, out to your mom's house?
Yeah, to Mom's house, and
Okay.
all that stuff. And that was on a Sunday.
Right.
Jeremy was there.
Okay.
Alrighty, and sit there, and yeah, Sunday, get there, 3-ish, 4, I'm trying to remember and all that stuff. Approximately between 3 or 5 and all that stuff.
Yeah.
It wasn't long before it got dark and all that stuff. So got there, called Mom. I think Mom was over at Grandpa's house and stuff,
Right.
and then said, "I'll be there shortly, come." She sits there, cooks dinner and all that stuff. Monday morning.
Well, hang on now. So, in the information that was provided to Texas in 04, you said that whenever you showed up in Melbourne, that you went and visited family in the small town. So that made it sound like that you were with your mom and that you visited family in the small town. So do you remember going to the grandparents' house on Sunday? Because that's what you told investigators in 04.
I can't remember and all that stuff.
Yeah. Do you think that probably if you said it in 04, that would probably be more accurate than...
It would probably be more accurate because we sat there and went and then because I know that when I came up and we, got at the wolf farm and all that stuff, I remember going and asking Casey if he could give me a hand.
Helping you move.
Helping
Mom move.
Help Mom move the stuff into the house. And he was like, "Hey, I'm too busy."
Is that whenever you showed up to Casey's trailer on Sunday?
No.
Okay. Well, when did you have that conversation with him?
When Mom moved up there 3 or 4 months before.
Okay.
So I sat there and asked him, do you think you can help me and all that stuff? And he's like, "No, I'm busy and all that stuff." So I was like, okay. And Mom was with me. All right. During that time, now the neighbors, because this is kind of odd, because I did tell the police that, the neighbors were constantly weirdos and all that stuff. Constantly, they got their door cracked, back door cracked. They got the blinds, open, kind of like staring at you and watching everything that's being done.
Right.
Now,
are these the ones that are across the highway or just kind of over to the side?
There was Uncle Bobby's trailer, and then there was neighbors right here.
Right.
So, but let me get on with the story, and then I'm going to tell you hearsay that what I've heard through the family and all that stuff. Okay. All right, so I get up there, I sat there, and Sunday, and then I'm not totally for sure if we went and saw Grandpa or whatever, or running around. I just know that I got up there Sunday, Monday, got up, took Jeremy to school. Then after that...
You took Jeremy to school Monday morning?
Yeah, me, Mom, and Jeremy went to the school, dropped him off and stuff, and then we went to Ash Flat. All right, and then from Ash Flat, we found out that we couldn't get the trucks and stuff, so then we went back to the wolf farm, and Grandpa and Troy was there. So then we were packing up more stuff, more stuff to get it all ready. Then Mom says, "I don't think I'll be back up this way. I want to go to Branson." And I was like, "Really, Mom?" She's like, "No, I really want to go," and kind of like, okay. So Grandpa, Troy, me, Mom, and, I'm helping Mom pack up everything in the front room. Then we leave, go get Jeremy. Then from there we go to Branson. We take my black truck. Mom's a navigator, not a good navigator.
So you're driving, Mom's navigating.
Yeah, Mom's navigating, and Jeremy's in the back. Okay.
And you all picked him up. You took him to school, and then you picked him up from school.
Yeah, but Mom told him that we're going to be leaving back to Texas because Jeremy was wasn't liking it there and all that stuff, too small of a town and all that stuff.
Right.
So we, I think Mom told the principal that, you know, this is going to be his last day. And then, so then we went up to Branton and all that stuff. Went around, checked out some stuff, realized that we were going to have to book shows and all that stuff, but we kind of got the feel of it and all that stuff. We ate there, and then I believe that we drove back, and it was kind of late. Then the next morning, Tuesday, me, Mom, Jeremy, sit there and we go to Ashflat, pick up the trucks, and understand that we got a truck with trailers and all that stuff to put the vehicles on and all that stuff.
Right.
So then we get the trucks, literally, you got to understand, I'm on a time schedule.
Right.
So I sit there and it's like go, go, go. So I load up the first truck, and by the late night, I probably had the second one halfway done. And I already had my truck up on one of the trailers and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And then, but on Tuesday, we saw a whole bunch of vehicles when we were coming back from Ashflat. And then that's when Mom calls Grandpa and says, you know, Casey must be having a party or something over there and stuff, because Grandpa would sit there and say Casey would have parties out there, grew marijuana that he thought on the property and all that stuff, because the cops even came out there one time, and Grandpa was like, I don't know what that is.
Right.
And then, so Mom calls Grandpa and all that stuff and says, you know, hey, you need to go check over there and all that stuff. And then, so Grandpa shows up and says that a young lady's missing and stuff. Right. So then, Wednesday.
So you guys found out Rebekah was missing before you guys got on the road Wednesday to head back.
Yeah, a young lady was missing, you know, Tuesday by Grandpa and all that stuff.
Yeah. And
then so it was like, you know, okay, wow, you know, what the hell's going on and stuff. Now, we, Tuesday had everything almost all packed up, and then in the morning got up early, finished packing up the rest. And then Grandpa and because Grandpa and Troy were doing the hay, so they would come every other day and stuff. And like on Monday, they were there, you know, doing the hay, flipping it over and all that stuff.
Right.
You know, 2 days, then come over and flip it again.
Right.
And then, so before Grandpa left out, or Grandpa Wednesday, before we left out, Grandpa sat there and was sitting on the porch where I had everything packed out and all that stuff. And I think Grandma was there too, you know, saying our goodbyes and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And so, and then we took off and came back, and then got down there Thursday, and I think the cops came Friday. You know, and then they questioned us, you know, what kind of person Casey is, asked, well, you know, where were you doing up there? And I was like, you know, I'm work offshore, you know, working at 7-7. Mom asked me to go and move.
I thought that you guys found out about Rebekah after you already got back to Texas, but it's you know, it's kind of odd that you were at the trailer on Sunday night talking to Casey out in the driveway, and you guys are still up there when law enforcement starts looking for her, and nobody talked to you guys in Arkansas. You know, that's kind of unusual how that worked out, you know.
Yeah.
But, you know, so I didn't mean to interrupt you, but go ahead.
So yeah, then we came back to Texas and stuff, and then the cops came, asked us a whole bunch of questions and stuff, and then
did you meet them at the police department down there, or did they just talk to you guys at your home? Or?
Then they came to our home and stuff, and, you know, talked to us, kind of pulled us to the side and, you know, questioned us.
Yeah.
You know, they we were on my mom's front porch, and then kind of like, you know, we were standing off to the side and talked and,
right.
and all that stuff, and then did the same thing with my brother and me.
Yeah.
And one did I can't remember the officer's name, but one did all the talking,
Right.
while the other one was just sitting there just, writing everything down.
Yeah. Okay. And whenever you came up from Texas, you were by yourself? You didn't bring, your wife didn't come?
No,
Or?
no.
Okay.
No. I came up because I think she had some other stuff going on,
Right.
and I don't remember if she was going to school during that time and all that stuff. She was going to college. She got her master's degree in occupation and safety and all that stuff.
Right.
So I don't know if she was going to school and that.
How long had you been married to Amanda during this period of time?
We've been together since high school, off and on and stuff.
Okay.
We got a 22-year-old daughter.
Right. Right. So you guys were in a relationship in high school, and in '04 you were 28, something like that. So you guys had been together for many years.
We've been together for a long time and stuff. And then when I bought my house, then it was kind of like I would go stay at her house or I'd stay at Mom's house and all that stuff. But then when I bought my house, then we